What's up, everyone? Today I'd like to talk about something bigger than politics, bigger than partisanship, and bigger than any one individual. I'd like to talk about trust. The trust between the American people and the institutions that are supposed to serve them. When the Department of Justice released the Epstein documents, millions of Americans expected clarity. They expected accountability. They expected, finally, to see sunlight on a case that has lived in the shadows for far too long. What they got instead were redactions, omissions, and entire sections that were scrubbed clean, including the names of powerful individuals whose conduct the public has every right to scrutinize. Unfortunately, our President Donald Trump, who was ordered by Congress to release these files, is believed to be all over them. When Trump first started dragging his feet, I think many people assumed he was perhaps protecting powerful friends or other public figures. However, recent actions by Trump's Department of Justice paint a damning picture of who the DOJ is actually trying to protect. The documents released by the Department of Justice describe Donald Trump as, according to the witnesses, having relations with at least one of the young females mentioned in the Epstein Files. After releasing this document, it was deleted and reposted with Trump's name being redacted. This was a clear slip in the concealment of Trump's name in the Epstein Files being perpetrated by Pam Bondi's Department of Justice. The redaction of Trump's name and the re-release of the document is the most obvious example of a massive cover-up involving Jeffrey Epstein's relationship with Donald Trump. So why was Trump's name redacted? The bill passed by Congress states that only redactions protecting Epstein's victims are allowed to be made. Trump is definitely not a victim. It seems, according to this document, that our president might be more involved in this affair than he's letting on. I'd like to read a quick excerpt from the original document in question. It's a bit graphic, but I think it needs to be read out loud so people can make their own judgments. Viewer discretion is advised. She confided in me about her casual friendship with Donald. Mr. Trump definitely seemed to have a thing for her, and she told me how he kept going on about how he liked her pert nipples. Donald Trump liked flicking and sucking her nipples until they were raw, and one evening when we were showering together, she showed me her nipples. They looked incredibly painful as they were red and swollen, and I remember wincing when I looked at them. I also know she had sexual relations with Trump at Jeffrey's New York mansion on regular occasions, as I once met Jen for coffee just before she was going to meet Trump and Epstein together at his mansion. The re-released documents had any mention of Trump's name redacted. Now, does that sound like a cover-up to you? I think now it is more important than ever that we get the full story from Trump and our government. This is 5 for Politics, and I'll see you next time.